Welcome back to Mincio MMA. We're going Bigfoot hunting in the UFC today. I am calling out the biggest, most exaggerated, absolute worst UFC myths floating around the MMA community right now. These are the false narratives that hardcore fans cling to with their lives. Let's start with a perfect example of a myth that has completely spiraled out of control. Myth number 1. Justin Gaethje is the final boss of leg kicks. The way people talk about Gaethje's low kicks, you think his opponents end every fight wailing in tears, rolling on the canvas, completely paralyzed. You hear it before every fight. Oh man, the leg kicks could make this one interesting. We've got to stop doing this. We are not Joe Rogan. Let's look at the actual stats. He landed 33 leg kicks on Max Holloway, 33. And how did Max look in the 5th round? He looked as fresh as a daisy. Gaethje landed over 50 leg kicks on Dustin Poirier in their first fight. Did Poirier start hobbling around like an old man? No, he TKO'd Gaethje in the 3rd round. I'm not saying his leg kicks don't hurt. They are punishing. But are they this mega factor that single-handedly swings his fights? Never. If you want to talk about leg kickers who actually TKO people until they can't move, talk about Jonathan Martinez. Gaethje's kicks are great, but they are incredibly overrated as a definitive. Moving on to myth number 2, Khamzat Chimaev just had an off night against Sean Strickland. You'll hear his team look you dead in the eye and say, "Tough weight cut, brother." He didn't start cutting until 2 hours before. First off, if that's your excuse, that is a pathetic lack of professionalism for an elite team. But more importantly, the idea that this wasn't the real Khamzat is hilarious. Robert Whittaker said it wasn't the Khamzat that fought him. It was the exact same Khamzat. Strickland is just incredibly awkward to put away on the ground. Are we going to pretend we haven't seen Khamzat fall off an adrenaline cliff before? We saw it against Gilbert Burns. Dominant first round, then he drops to about 20% effectiveness. But here is the reality check. Khamzat actually got a second wind. In the 3rd and 4th rounds against Strickland, he was pushing the pace, smiling, and even broke Sean's nose. He wasn't some compromised shell of himself. He was in shape. He just ran into a style that is perfectly tailor-made to be his absolute kryptonite. Next up, Aljamain Sterling has horrible striking. People literally spit venom at Alio's stand-up. They talk about him like his striking is on par with a cardio kickboxing mom or Ben Askren. It is an absolute joke. You do not school Henry Cejudo on the feet if you are a terrible striker. And please, don't give me the, "Oh, it was just a threat of the takedown" excuse. He outclassed Brian Ortega, who had just outstruck the Korean Zombie. He even outlanded Petr Yan in multiple rounds across their 2 fights. Does he have nuclear power? No. Is he awkward? Yes. But he throws fast kicks, has an underrated sweep, and lands spinning attacks. The narrative that his striking is biodegradable trash is completely blind to reality. Myth number 4, Zabit is MMA's biggest what if. People talk about Zabit like he's a holy figure, the monk who made us cry. They act like a matchup between him and Ilia Topuria would feed families. The harsh reality? Zabit had a terrible gas tank and zero pop in his punches. He would have made it competitive against Max Holloway or Alexander Volkanovski for exactly 1 round before his awful cardio became his downfall. There is zero chance he submits them with a fancy knee bar. We actually know exactly where Zabit's career was heading, the top 5 gatekeeper spot. If you want a real modern what if, look at Shavkat Rakhmonov and his injury issues, or even Gregor Gillespie. Zabit's ceiling was much lower than nostalgia tells you. This brings us to one of my favorites. The myth of, "Don't believe your eyes, I'm a hardcore fan." These are the fans who look at Justin Gaethje and say, "Take it from me, man, he's actually a wrestler first." Gaethje is the purest striker in mixed martial arts history. When he actually shoots a takedown, like he did on Rafael Fiziev, the entire crowd laughs because of how comical it is. Or how about the people who say Ilia Topuria isn't a striker? Yes, Ilia is well-rounded with a great grappling base. But he is a predominant boxer. Don't call a guy who knocks people unconscious on the feet 80% of the time a grappler just to sound like you know something the casuals don't. Let's talk about Mike Malott. Somehow, he has become the butt of the joke in the welterweight division. People treat him like a laughable, aging prospect just because he gassed out against Neil Magny. Here is the truth, Mike Malott is actually incredible. Before his body failed him, he was absolutely schooling Magny for 2.5 rounds. He beat Kevin Holland in a striking battle. He destroyed Charles Radke. Malott is fast, powerful, and wildly athletic. If you dropped him into the UFC 5 or 6 years ago when the welterweight division wasn't this stacked, we would be talking about him as a future champion. Stop treating him like a meme. Myth number 7. The old dinosaurs would destroy modern fighters because styles make fights. Outside of Demetrius Johnson and GSP, you are completely delusional if you think the old guard holds up. You will see absolute wannabe hardcores claim that prime Dominic Cruz would be a stylistic nightmare for Petr Yan. Let me give you a reality check. Petr Yan would literally be charged with war crimes for what he would do to Dominic Cruz. I know Cruz and Uriah Faber looked tough doing kickflips at Laguna Beach back in the day, but Yan would maul him. And the people saying prime Anderson Silva would flying knee Khamzat Chimaev into oblivion? Anderson got taken down and held down by Chael Sonnen using basic 90s wrestling. Khamzat would tip him over and submit him in less than 3 minutes. Finally, I have to dispel the myth that Jose Henrique still needs time and isn't ready for the big leagues. People always pull up that one photo of him getting cracked on the Contender Series. I don't care. He's flying knee KO Jonathan Barrios in the first round. He is top 15 material right now. He's the new Mike Malott. I know half of you are in the comments right now typing, "Bro, who the hell is Jose Henrique?" I'm joking. I've never seen this guy fight in my life. I just picked the most random prospect off an upcoming card to see if you were paying attention. Forget popularity, the GOAT list comes down to pure performance, dominance, elite wins, and quality losses. Kicking off at number 10 is Max Holloway, the featherweight legend with a historic resume and that viral UFC 300 buzzer beater. Next is the undefeated, never-bled Khabib Nurmagomedov at number 9, whose only setback here is a lack of longevity. At number 8 is Alex Pereira, the multi-sport king who collected 2 division belts and beat 6 world champions in record time. Petr Yan takes number 7 with his violent, elite toolkit, while Merab Dvalishvili lands at number 6 thanks to a legendary 14-fight cardio masterclass. Ilia Topuria punches into number 5 as a lower-weight Mike Tyson, holding brutal knockouts over Folk and Holloway. Georges St-Pierre holds number 4, having cleared out the golden era of welterweights and avenged every single career loss. Alexander Volkanovski is number 3, the dominant featherweight GOAT who shut out Aldo and broke Max Holloway's streak. John Jones sits at number 2 with a staggering resume spanning a decade of light heavyweight dominance and a heavyweight title. But the number 1 spot belongs to Islam Makhachev. With modern hyper-competitive wins over prime Volkanovski and Oliveira, he takes the crown. Do you agree with the list, or is it total blasphemy? Let us know in the comments. That's going to do it for today's Bigfoot hunt. I want to hear from you guys. What do you think is the single most annoying MMA myth going around right now? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed the video and want to see more myth-busting content, make sure to drop a like, hit that subscribe button, and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Thanks for tuning in to Mincio MMA, and I'll catch you all in the next one.